Hello everyone, it's Christine here and I am back for our stitch along, and we are going to be doing net stitch. And so net stitch is mainly worked on the surface of the fabric, but first of all we need to couch down a piece of thread. So I'm going to use some vintage crochet yarn and I'm going to put a nice little arc. So I'll plan to have my thread sort of arcing up below the net, and then my net will extend down here. So I'll just lay it so that it's straight across, which I do by just laying my thread across to see where I need to take it in approximately. And then take my needle through. Now I'm going to leave this just slightly loose, and I'll then work my way back and just put in some little stitches to hold it with its little sort of arcing motion, if that makes sense. So these are little couching stitches to hold it in place. So I'll just evenly space them out and just gradually sort of use the little stitches to shape my piece of thread up in the direction I want it to go. And so this particular stitch is going to make something that looks like a fishing net. So I hope you're all having a great day or a great evening. It's Sunday here when I'm filming this. I think you'll be watching it on Friday night with me. So Travis and I went to the lovely park that has beautiful views over Melbourne. That's just nearby, but looks down towards the bay, across to the city in the far distance. No reverse art truck today because it's not open on a Sunday, so it's a safe day to go without getting tempted. I've just got I've got lots that I want to get done, so I can't bring anything else in, otherwise I'll have to pack it all up, take it all off its cards, and I won't get sewing time. So good that the reverse art truck wasn't open. And Alex is watching the Bathurst race on the TV. As well as pruning the hedges in his back garden. So I think I think it goes for 161 laps. I think I got that right. I did ask today. It's like, how many times will they go around? 161. Wow. Wonder how they came to have such a funny number of laps. And this lovely fabric, this beautiful woven fabric I'm using was from Alex's mum. Some of the big swathes of fabric I got, including this beautiful, beautiful tartan. It's just lovely. It's really nice to stitch into. So we're just going to continue to the end, couching down. And then we need to start doing our blanket stitch foundation. So we'll pop through just at the end here. I think the book says to finish off the thread and then restart another thread, but I can't be bothered doing that, so I'm just going to do it this way, and then I'll just start creating my little blanket stitches. And so this will become the foundation onto which we're going to be working on the surface on the net stitch. So you could could obviously do them a lot finer, but I don't want to keep you here for forever watching the video, so I won't do too many. I'll sort of space my blanket stitches out a bit so it's not too many stitching bits we need to do. So with blanket stitch, and there is a separate video on blanket stitch, but you're always keeping your thread under the needle as you pull it through, so you get that beautiful little loopy loop. I might just take that down there like that, and then tie it off because we need to start on the left hand side. And I'm almost out of, I won't have enough thread, I don't think, to do the first row of loops. Oops, so that's even got a little tangle there, but that won't matter. Okay, I'll put that into my Ort jar, and then I'll get another bit of vintage crochet thread. We'll tie a knot in the end of it. First we'll thread it, then we'll tie a knot. And then we're going to bring our needle through inside, just inside the first of the little blanket stitches. And then we're going to take our needle down without catching the fabric through the middle of the next blanket stitch and leave a little. So it says, pull the thread through until the stitch wraps loosely around the centre of the blanket stitch loop. I guess wraps loosely, that's probably, I think, what it means. And it looks about like that in the book. So yeah, definitely use a hoop if you've got one for this. I think it will just help make it easier by keeping your fabric nice and taut while you work on your foundation. So you're just coming down, always keeping the thread underneath the needle tip so that you get the little loopy loop. And working till you get to the end of the row, that same way. And then it says we have to end off at the end of each row and take it to the back just about there. Okay. Then I should have enough in that piece of crochet to do another row. And so we're then going to pop through inside of our next little loop, so the loop that we created on the last run. And then again we're going to work a second row. And again coming through from the middle of the next stitch and pulling it to form a little loop, and always with the thread under the needle. It's an interesting stitch. Could be great with quite textural yarn, I can imagine, as well. Like with a thicker yarn would be really interesting textural piece. Last one got a bit pulled through when I took it through to the back, but I think that'll be all right. Again, I won't take that too tightly through to the back. And then we need to tie that one off as well. And then we will do our next row. So I'll pop up inside that first loop. Always a bit tricky to see where, which is your first loop to come up inside. Just unthreaded the needle, so we'll fix that up. Then coming through, keeping the needle, the thread under the needle. Oops. See a little black Travis hair, I think, caught in there. Or it could be just a fibre. I suppose I shouldn't blame poor Travis. Not sure if there's another stitch there, maybe not. Okay, and then we'll finish that one off, and I might get myself another bit of thread. Put that into the Yacht jar. We'll just do a couple more rows and then I'll show you how to finish it off. Again, popping up in the start of your previous row, and then just always coming through and always keeping your thread under your needle tip. Yeah, it's really interesting just working on the surface and only anchoring down at either end of the rows. I don't know if that makes this a stump work technique as well, because generally stump work is where you are kind of working off the piece. I feel like I might be missing one at this very end where it gets quite tight with the loops. So I might just create one there. Actually, I don't know if that one, but that's okay. We'll do that. I'll just take it to the back here. And then we'll tie it off. Okay, and then back to the starting row again. So just seeing where my last, yep, I started there, so I'll pop up inside that loop. And then again, yeah, it's interesting because as you pull, if you pull a bit like I did there, it sort of, pulls makes one of your stitches a bit looser and one a bit tighter. So I just want that to be like that. So it is a good idea to be as gentle as you can as you're pulling through. But yeah, it's been great through this project just to try so many new stitches. I have never done a stitch at all like this before. It's really quite different. Using my needle just to tease out a bit where it looks like it kind of got a bit twisted. Well, not twisted, just a bit pulled up maybe. A smidge more pulled up than it should be. Okay, and then we'll tie off again and maybe do 1 or 2 more rows, and then I'll show you how to finish off. A slightly longer one today, but hopefully we can all be having a nice, if it is Friday night that it's going to show on, hopefully we can all be having a nice Friday night chat. Maybe Friday or Saturday, not sure. Okay, so popping up inside that first loop and then continuing along on our way, making little loop-de-loops. Oops, that's one, is that the loop in there yes, that is one there, hiding. It's getting narrower at that end. So now comes the fun part where we're going to stretch the net down with some pins and anchor it in place and then put our little stitches in place to hold it. So start by, I'm just going to try using the pins this way. I was just having a bit of a play off camera and I think this should work. So you just want to stretch your net down a little bit just to kind of expand it out where it's more loopy at the bottom. And I can readjust the pins if it's not quite the way I want it when I've got them all in. I might just loosen a couple of these ones so that some of these loops just go a bit more even. Don't know whether I also need to pull these ones out at the side at all, or just I might leave those ones as is. And maybe just loosen this one a smidge, although I think that'll be okay. I will leave it like that. It's not a perfectly symmetrical net, but I think that will be right. So I'm going to bring my crochet thread through with a knot from the back, and I'm just going to put a tiny little stitch in over the edge of each loop to hold it in place once the pin is taken out. I'm sure some of you will be able to get a much more symmetrical net. So make sure you post them in our Facebook group if you're stitching along, or if you give this stitch a go. I would love to see. I think I'll have to add a fish to my net after I finish the video as well. So if you see a fish in the net in the photo for this video, you'll know I've done that. I might just cut out one out of felt or out of some fabric. Take the pins out and make sure the stitches have done what I want them to do. Yep, there we go. Our net is holding in place. Very, very cool. And I suppose I can always slip my little fish in behind it. So thank you so much for watching and persevering. A longer video. Hopefully we've had some lovely chat while this has been playing, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye everyone.